You may have seen the redesigned 2024 Lexus GX with its suspension fully articulated over rocky terrain, or its tires caked in mud, including in our own coverage. But we've got the GX now where you will most likely see it, suburbia. So we circulated the GX around to various editors and got a bunch of impressions on how it works as a family SUV. After all, in most configurations, this is a 3-row SUV. We performed our standardized cargo testing and child safety seat testing, so we're gonna see just how good it is as a family car. Before you even get in, there's a quirk we observed specifically with smaller kids, is that this door doesn't open to 90 degrees, so it's kind of a narrow opening. And then younger kids, it was difficult for them to get into the vehicle. There's really nothing to grab onto because the grab handle is for adults way up there. So for younger kids, they needed a little extra scooch to get past these multiple tiers of steps. And it's an off-road vehicle. It has a lot of ground clearance. Its ride height is very tall, but it doesn't offer an air suspension to lower the vehicle like a competitor, like our long-term Jeep Grand Cherokee that has an entry ride height the vehicle lowers. It's much easier for kids to get in and out. All right, car seats. I had a very positive experience with car seats in the GX, and that was with a high back booster and a forward-facing convertible. The latch connectors are exposed and really easy to access. The headrests come out, and while you may think that sounds pretty normal, there are a lot of cars that have fixed headrests, and this one does not. So the headrests come out. You can put the seats flush with the seat back. Very good. I had no problems installing car seats for these two seats. In our official car seat test, we observed that rear-facing seats, like a rear-facing convertible or an infant seat, there was limited room for the front passenger. Our certified car seat installer is 5'6" and had to put the seat forward to where it wasn't totally comfortable. This is just for show. This is my personal car seat, as evident by the number of boogers in the cup holder, but you can see that there's not a whole lot of room back here. And even when they were forward facing, I was driving and felt this like presence over my shoulder, and I turn around and my kid's foot is right here, right next to my ear. So there's definitely not a whole lot of space back here if you're traveling with younger kids in bulky car seats. The third row is limited for car seats because there are no latch connectors, there are no rear tether anchors, and also the head restraints aren't removable. So really you're limited to boosters. More about that third row. I expected it to be completely useless for adults, but that's not the case. Because of the GX's squared off roof, there's actually a decent amount of headroom back here. And there are only 2 seats. They're not trying to cram in 3 seats because that never works. These are actually separated, which is nice. And then it also reclines a little bit too. Also a good touch. What's not so pleasant for comfort is that the second row doesn't slide, so you can't play with comfort between second and third row passengers. And while the tumble forward access is really nice to get in and out, those steps of getting in are just a little narrow, so it's still hard to get in even for adults. And the last thing where just kind of, again, proves that maybe this isn't the best fit for families with small kids, you can't put a car seat in the second row and then have access to the third row while keeping the car seat installed. So if you have car seats installed in the second row, you're gonna have to remove them to get access to the third row. The biggest downside to using that third row is cargo space, because we measured a minuscule 4.8 cubic feet behind the third row, and that is more than the previous Lexus GX, which holds the record as the least cargo space we've ever measured behind a third row. But it's a lot less than what you'll find in a Grand Cherokee L, which is the 3-row Grand Cherokee. But once you fold the third row, you have a very respectable amount of cargo space that is similar to a Grand Cherokee L and definitely more than something you'll find in like a Land Rover Discovery. So a nice touch with the cargo area is actually back on the outside, where you have in the hatch, the glass will open up independently and give you access to the cargo area, which is nice for a quick open and close access. But also, if you're doing those weekend hardware store runs, you could run some lumber out the back if you need to. I find it interesting that the Lexus GX even offers a third row, not because it's unusable, but because there are other Lexus SUVs that offer a third row. The TX, for example, or the LX, both of those offer third rows. As far as pricing though, this GX is $66,000 as equipped, which I was surprised to see. This is the premium trim level, which is the entry-level trim level. It has a couple of options, but you can also get a Lexus TX pretty easily for that much money. The TX though has the advantage in space. It is a proper 3-row SUV with a lot of second row room, a lot of third row room, and a lot of cargo space behind the third row. So if you need that extra family friendliness in a 3-row SUV, the TX is gonna be for you. So is the Lexus GX a good family car? Well, it depends. No, that's not really helpful. What we found is that for smaller kids, kids with bulky car seats, this wasn't a great fit for primary family duty. Within the Lexus lineup, there are bigger cars that make just carrying all of that stuff and the kids easier. And then outside of Lexus, something like the Jeep Grand Cherokee L offers a lot of great stuff for primary family duty. But the GX shines in other areas. It can tow up to 8,000 pounds. It has genuine off-road capability, and you might love the way it looks. I got comments while driving this nonstop about people who were just enamored with the way that it looked. And if those things are important to you, then the GX might be worth living with some of those downsides.